Women in the Wall, down below. Many women's looks and ability to attract a wealthy, attractive mate decline rapidly as they hit the age of 30. Men's attractiveness often increases with age because they tend to make more money as they age and often have larger bank accounts and savings. While generally women's earnings potential withers with their looks, especially if they've had children. The age of 30 is roughly where male and female values intersect and then go in the opposite direction. If a man doesn't get married by the age of 35 or 40, then there's only roughly a 12% chance that he's going to get married from that point forward. Another reason men should go their own way is because of shit tests. Women often test men's ability to be providers and tolerate their horrible behavior. The idea is to turn a man into an obedient, broken shell of his former self that walks around saying, "Yes, dear," all of the time. His spirit has to be broken in many cases so his resources become more easily extracted and he is more malleable. He becomes silly putty in her hands. A woman asking a man to do something over the top is not her being loving or showing love, but instead she's testing him to see if he can be manipulated. And the ironic thing is that women...
Let's talk about that real quick. Is that the first time you ever heard of the concept of a shit test?
No, I watched your video.
Oh, so you've seen?
Your
okay.
video,
Okay.
And I disagree.
So you disagree that there's sometimes that a woman might test a man to see how a question moves him or how he reacts into it. You don't think that happens at all?
No, it happens. It happens.
Okay. So
However,
what do you disagree with then?
I think it goes both ways. Honestly, I feel like dudes will also challenge women to see who they are and their character. But, you know, I don't think it's in the spirit to break you per se and to mold you. It's just to see, are you the type of person that I want to be with? And if you're not, I'm going to let you go and not try to break you down if you don't want to do what I ask, or me vice versa do what you ask if it's something that I feel like I'm not going to bend about. But I feel like we should both be able to equally ask our partners to do whatever we want to ask them to do.
But listen, you know the mantra of marriage, right? Which is like for men, and it is happy wife, happy life.
No, happy spouse, happy house. See, you got to change your mindset.
Okay.
It's all up here, sentimental.
So spouse goes both ways.
Happy spouse, happy house.
That's not the one. I've never heard that one.
I know, I made that one up.
You just made that one up?
Okay, now I'm lying. I'm taking credit. I've heard it and I've just incorporated. I've kind of traded them two out.
And he refers to this kind of yes dear mentality as if, you know, you have to make her happy in order to, but then, you know, you kind of think about, you know, what the government has constructed for us, and at the point that, you know, things can go awry and astray, it, you know, it has the man at, you know, ball sack and a vice grip, you know what I mean? So in order to increase his happiness, he finds that he has to make her happy and keep her, meanwhile she can shit test.
Make him happy too. I think they both are supposed to be equally making each other happy.
Yeah. You know, the thing is like, you know,
I don't think there's nothing wrong with trying to make your woman happy. Like, I don't think the woman should just settle for, okay, I'm happy. I feel like she should be returning that favor.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And here's where I struggle with is because, you know, I feel like because you are the opposite view of what this is, I find myself going back and forth to give like an opposite argument to it. And I feel like a lot of what's going on here is there's a lot of people that settle because they're in the matrix and they find themselves in a generally close proximity with someone who may be a shithead, and to just assume that a whole gender is a shithead because of these different experiences and stuff, to me it's intellectually lazy. It's very lazy to just say, okay, I'm gonna get my ball and go to the other side of the court, and I just won't deal with them at all. I think that there's components of human nature outside of just female nature, but there's also male nature as well. That's also a thing as well. Like, just as much as she's looking to you to provide, and, you know, is looking at your bank accounts and all these things that, you know, we know women can do as they assess who you are as a man. A man is looking at you like, you know,
did you cook? That's like the first thing dudes ask you.
Well, that's not what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, you know, what her waistline to hip line look like. You know what I'm saying? What her bra? You know, all of these kind of like real what they consider superficial things.
Keep her hair
but I don't think it's superficial. It's actually because we're more visual people, so I feel like it's not superficial if it actually matters to us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I feel like women also aim to please men. That's why they do cook, and that's why they do keep themselves up.
You said women aim to please men.
Yeah.
Talk about that more.
I think that in my life experiences.
Well, you are a Southern belle.
Yes. Yes. I feel like women please their men. Like,
there's much more traditional values within the South as opposed to like the Northeast where I'm from. Like, way more traditional, way more like a man will pay all the bills and all, right? So like, and in return, she pours energy into him. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of those values are way more traditional than what you see like in other portions of the world. So I feel like that's where you're from, and that's where you're coming from.
Right.
But there's so many other dudes that don't work in that majority, right? There's so many other people that look like us that step outside of like where they're from and live in a completely different new city with a completely different clientele of culture, so to speak. Right. You know what I mean? So
you feel like women are just, do you think that women are just all take and they're not reciprocating?
Here's the thing.
Oh, is he trying to say that?
So he's talking about a specific type of dude that is unaware of human nature.
Human nature,
They call it female nature, and
I would agree.
It's human nature. Absolute power will absolutely corrupt. And this is the difference between being a nice guy and a good guy. If you're too nice, she will treat you like a fan. If you treat her like a superstar, she will treat you like a fan every single time. Which is why, like, I was trying to tease out before with like when I was saying think about your friends and situations, because maybe you have situations where you just got someone who's a validator and he orbits around you and makes you feel good whenever, and you might text him at 12 o'clock at night. Meanwhile, in the back of your mind, at the end of the day, he's like, oh shit, she's texting me. She's gonna come get me the super butt.
Right. And I think that's really immature, because I've had those people in my life where I'm like, it's free dinner. I know I really don't like him, but I'll take advantage of the situation. I've done that. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I'm holier than thou. Yeah. But I'm at a space. Authenticity. Yeah, I'm at a space in my life where I don't think that's okay, especially when you're dealing with a nice guy, because I don't want to scorn anyone, or I don't want to give someone the perception that women ain't shit. Just like when a dude has like taken advantage of me, I don't paint all dudes and say, oh, men ain't shit. I learned that type of person and their character and things like that, and I see those red flags, so I know moving into the next situation what I will and won't deal with.
Yeah, but so I think like this is coaching for dudes who are stereotypically nice guys.
Nice guys,
ones who just feel like they've been given a perception of what
every woman
human
is, their time,
and they show up at every beck and call. They put all their work down, they put their passions down in order to answer y'all texts. You know what I'm saying? Like you could have just gotten off a hard day at work, and they're like, "Was there anything I can do?
Let me rub your feet.
Let me come and rub." Oh my God! Like those are the dudes that I feel like that are most apt to be taken advantage of.
They are, but there are women out here that will take advantage of them.
But listen, but just like if you walk down a street of any major city and someone's trying to sell you snake oil, if you are uneducated on what the product is that they're trying to sell you, they will take advantage of you. True. They will take advantage of your lack of information and education and knowledge. So I feel like these type of videos, although they paint it towards women, it's more like a human thing. There's things been done in my life, you know what I'm saying? The dating, and the thing is like there's a lot of people that put a lot of focus on this dating stuff, and they are consumed with it. And that's part of like what I try to teach on this channel as well, is to take out of the being your life consumed with how many women that you can get. Like you don't think that you have a good time at a party because there's not enough women there. Yeah. Like what's up with just getting up with your partners and just building and not just talking about women and talking about your business, right? Talking about your financial status, and talking about your awareness of things that affect you and your family's life. Like there's so many dudes like in their 20s to 30s that and a component, like I'm guilty of it as well. Yeah. Like I be on trips, with my partners, and it's just like, oh, look at that one, look at this one, but like.
So what, can you help me understand the benefit of having a lot of women outside of sexual pleasures? Like, because
I don't think there is a benefit.
Right. So, I mean, there was a time where men would like develop ED. Why he talking about women at 30, men at 30, some of their shit stop working. Do y'all know that percentage?
Yeah. No. But they got medication.
Yeah, now y'all have medication, and I guess that's why y'all can just keep going or whatever. But you don't want somebody that just loves you for you, and that's their. I mean, I guess that's your family, right?
Well, yeah, your family, but yeah. So I think every dude wants that fairy tale. Like every dude wants it. In 2019, it is ever more difficult because here's the thing. We've evened out gender roles. Mm-hmm. While that is happening, there's an increase of information coming into us through social media, through dating apps, where they're increasing y'all expectations to be the baddest things ever, while also increasing the options that we have.
Yeah.
So like when I'm sitting over here and let's say that you're in a dating zone and you're dating all these people and you're like, well, she just made me angry, but I got 15 other people in my DM list that I can get up on.
Right.
Or 15 other Tinder swipes that you go on a Friday or Saturday night.
I agree.
So you have these components, and then also people are getting introduced to this information, and they're just like, oh, I'm not going to be tolerating a life where I am unhappy. Mm-hmm. So let me figure out, like, what are the things that I need to do to understand who I am as a person,
right.
What makes me tick, and what will make me happy, inevitably.
Yeah.
And that's on both sides of the coin. That's women as well.
I agree.
So, like, what I think might start happening in America over the next 15 years is something that was happening in Japan, and they have a constantly and a considerate decline in their population. Their population is going down because people they're not getting together anymore.
Oh,
they're not forming
what
relationships.
Drake say, we live in a generation of not being in love and not being together.
Listen, I mean, he just came out. What was the song? It was Amaretto or something like that. He just came out with that song, and he's talking about like marriage is not for me. Like you have people like right. Drake, who's been his entire career a woman sympathizer. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like who talks about his situation and he's saying, yeah, it's not for me. And look at his life. Like he had a baby, he pays that child support, whatever tens of thousands of dollars a month that most likely is. Right. But then besides that, he lives a life of where he's not claiming one.
Right, and that's cool. So I think that's where you have to find people that want what you want. So if you don't want to be married, just make sure you're clear and make sure that you're upfront with that, because you don't want to get with a woman or get too deep involved with someone that does want to be married, and then now you're depriving her. So for myself, I choose to be married, so I make sure I connect with people that aspire those same things in life.
Let me ask you a question. Why do you want to get married? Outside of religion.
I want somebody to raise my children with. I want somebody to grow with and build with, and I would just rather have you in the home than outside of the home to help teach, nurture, all of those things. Like, I don't want to raise my kids by myself because I've seen how hard that is, especially when I want to have a big family. Like, if I was having one kid, maybe. Mm-hmm. But you know, I need somebody to carry on my legacy. I'm gonna have all these businesses. I need people to pass them down to.
Okay.
And
you can't do that without marriage.
I can, but I would prefer not to, because once again, I've seen how hard it is to do it on your own. Okay.
Listen, we got 5 more minutes left in this video. You want to keep on going?
Yeah.
All right, let's keep on going.
We're going to try to get through this, y'all, without stopping.
They want to manipulate men, but when the manipulation works, they tend to lose interest. With regards to love, there are often questions as to whether women are even capable of loving men the way that men love women. Men scale mountains because they love women. They cross seas, invent things, write poetry, and revolutionize the world. It's my own opinion, as well as the opinion of many other MGTOWs, that women are not hardwired for the same level of love that men are. This is partially to do with the fact that women need to look after children and need to divert those resources elsewhere. Anyways, MGTOW men want North America and Europe to turn into Japan. We want men refusing to provide love and resources to women on a civilization-wide scale until society crumbles. Women are selfish, yet men are told to man up and take responsibility. And we don't want to take responsibility for childlike women that have given up on their own responsibilities, but continue to demand that we men provide them entitlements because they have a golden vagina. When a man tries to live for himself, women call it a midlife crisis and try to shame him back into submission. Yet when a woman goes through menopause, men are supposed to just tolerate her hot flashes, as well as mood swings, But
let me talk about this real quick. So I see you.
That's medical. Like, what the hell?
No, I see you scrunch your face up. But like, I've had women tell me, you know, I'm about to hit 34 next week. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And legit, the story is like, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hit 34. And the first reaction that I'll get from some women is like,
you're not married?
You're not married?
That's the same reaction women get.
True. Sure. Mm-hmm. You guys probably get a little bit younger.
More pressure too.
But there's a shaming that can go on within men, and so there's an assumption that I'm looking for a relationship. That's the first thing, right? And there's an assumption that like I am not whole until right. So like, and that assumption can turn to shame, and then some dudes feel that shame, and then they find themselves looking for that golden egg in order to feel complete.
Right, and I think that that's vice versa, and that's where you get that settling effect. And I think you just have to be content with where you are, and you have to just be patient. And if you don't want to be married, great. Ignore the shame. But if you aspire to be married, keep looking and keep being patient. But he's talking about women are not hardwired to love like men.
You know, he didn't
I think women love harder than men, honestly.
I don't know.
Because like you said, you have to love the children, you gotta love the men. Like, all we know is love. We're nurturers by nature. Like, he don't agree that we're loving creatures, but I think we are.
I think so. I agree and disagree at the same time. I think like for example, if a dude gets cheated on, if a girl gets cheated on,
oh my!
If a dude gets cheated on,
he bouncing.
Yeah,
like a dude can cheat on a woman 1,000,000 times, and guess what? She's gonna love him through his flaws. A woman make one mistake.
Mistake? Would you just slipped and fall on her? You know, mistake.
I say it's a mistake. Now, a mistake made more than once is a decision.
Yeah.
But if you slipped up, it's a mistake. I've been together for 10, 15 years.
Well, let's talk about that. I feel like a lot of that also has to do with just the pure anatomy. Like, let me give you a quick example. What feels more weird when I stick my finger in your mouth? Is it me sticking my finger in your mouth, or you receiving my finger in your mouth? What feels more weird?
Whatever you're doing right now. I don't know.
You receiving my finger in your mouth.
Yeah.
Is that more or less weird than me putting my finger in your mouth?
Me feeling it?
Yeah, you're damn right it is. That's the same concept to me of like of a woman having sex, is because they are receiving something from somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there's way more put into receiving something from someone else as opposed to giving something. Because it's easy to give all day.
I call bullshit. Men are always trying to justify that BS.
Man, but black men don't cheat.
Justification.
That's the first thing. Black men don't cheat.
If that's the case, I will probably not be single right now. Y'all get at me.
Okay.
Link my IG below.
You said link it below. Listen, I can link it below. That's nothing. You might get a couple thousand follows, but alright, look, you want to keep going?
Yeah.
Wait, but hold up. But you don't believe with that anatomy example?
No, I feel like everybody should equally be committed and loyal. That comes to loyalty. Are you a loyal person or are you not?
Okay. All right, let's keep going. We're going to have to make this into 2 parts, by the way.
We are.
Like, yeah, I'm going to make this into 2 parts because this is...
Yeah.
A man in a midlife crisis needs therapy, according to women. The guy we MGTOWs look up to the most is Nikola Tesla, a lifelong bachelor that invented many of the technologies that we use today. He registered hundreds of patents and invented the 20th century by many accounts. Do you think that he could have invented all of the things that he did if he had a wife and children to support? Most MGTOWs also avoid long-term relationships because women have multiple male friends that they use for different functions. Effectively, women have the equivalent of a male harem. One man to sleep with, one to bankroll her, another one to use as an emotional tampon, and other men for all kinds of functions. One man simply can't satisfy the modern woman. And the sooner men realize this, the sooner they can go their own way. A traditional marriage...
One man can't satisfy the modern woman.
One woman can't satisfy the modern man. Period.
So what you're saying is that there's no answer to all of this?
Yeah, I think you just cannot paint people with a broad brush. I think everybody are individuals, and you have to approach them as such. I don't think you can just say that. Like, he's like, can the guy that invented Tesla do all of that if he had a woman and children? Maybe he could, maybe he can't. Look at Barack Obama.
Elon Musk did everything that he did in a marriage. I mean, there's no telling what that marriage was, but I think he recently got divorced.
Yeah. I feel like with the right woman, now if he would have chose the wrong woman, no. But with the right woman, he probably could have did greater things. Tesla would probably be profitable right now.
But I guess the argument is where would technology be if Elon Musk was single that entire time? Here's the thing, is that when you invite someone else into your life, then you have an opportunity. Why is this out of focus? When you invite someone into your life, then you always have the opportunity of time being taken away from your passion and your purpose.
I agree because I know in college I made a conscious decision not to date because I don't have that.
You want to be focused.
Yeah, I wanted to be focused and I didn't want to invest that type of time. But when I'm at a space where I want a family, I want to be married. And when I have my children, I don't want to. He can come whenever he pleases or go whenever he pleases or have to have a court order say, oh, you need to see your children X amount of times.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. All right, well, we got like 2 more minutes left.
Okay.
And family is a great risk for men in this day and age. If a man wants a child of his own, I would suggest that he go to either Mexico or Thailand and have a surrogate mother give birth to his own child. That way his child can never be taken away by the mother, and he often pays $30,000 to $40,000 to have his own child free and clear that he can raise in any which way he wants. What's also really unfortunate today is that many men get married, and now that they're married, just now do they realize that they've gotten married and have kids, and are effectively MGTOWs. They see the benefit to it, but they're stuck in the relationship. This issue of being a closeted MGTOW is one that many of my listeners face. Other men get married because they like to play a game called Captain Save-A-Ho. They want to rescue women by paying off their student loans, buying them a nice home and furnishing it, as well as spoiling them rotten like princesses. Yet many of the women they tend to rescue are used-up sluts that have been riding the cock carousel for most of their lives.
Yo, this boy go hard. I didn't realize
he does not let up.
I didn't realize he was gonna go this hard.
But he's talking as if we're in the 1930s, the 40s or something. Women are equally as financially capable of taking care of themselves. Actually, I've seen the reverse in my upbringing. Women taking care of men, than men being the breadwinners and the providers. So for him to say, I just think that he's stuck in the early 1900s where he feels like women are damsels and need to be saved, but we're financially independent. We don't need a man to rescue us. And I think that by not wanting to commit to a woman, he's gonna actually get the type of women that he may be trying to avoid, women that's just trying to take advantage of him and trying to be saved, versus someone that's genuinely interested in him.
Well, he's saying he's not gonna get taken advantage of because he's not gonna mess with any woman. I think that's what the MGTOW thing is that they're going their own way.
And then my question is, who are you messing with then?
Apparently nobody. Like it, I guess, or they're just,
Because I'm like, okay, so you're presenting this problem, but what is your solution?
I don't like the solution, right? Like to just say,
just don't mess with women because
they're terrible. And it's like, what do you do to overcome what you feel like is terrible? Mm-hmm. It's like, because you were this like nice dude and they don't respect you and you allow yourself to be taken advantage of, all of a sudden it's like you in kindergarten, and it's like your first day of school and none of the kids want to play with you, so you're gonna go play by your damn self. Mm-hmm. It's like, but we're tribal people. We require some type of human interaction between we're pack animals to a degree, you know what I'm saying? So it's like to just say, I'm done. That's it, I'm done. But I get to a point of like, you are so angry and so fed up because you've been tricked. Right. And that's the thing is like I've not been put in a place where my life
where you feel tricked.
I feel like my whole life was turned on its head. And but there was a point where I was, in a relationship and I had some things presented to me which allowed me to grow up, and really to understand human nature, along with they talk about female nature, along with that as well, very quickly in a fell swoop. And I was angry for a period of time, And there was a point of, it was like, well, bump this. But my bump this was more like, have as many as I can and as often as I can, and I don't care what relationships that they're in. And to see like the situations that I was going through with women after that were in relationships, and I'm sitting over here like, oh, okay, now I'm starting to get it. Like they or humans just don't care. Like there's a component of people who are trying to live within the matrix and post their Instagram photos of these perfect lives, but knowing damn well that she's messing with him and he's messing with whoever. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's all of this contrived, fake BS that at the end of the day doesn't amount to happiness.
Right. But my deal is, I feel like he's putting a lot of the onus on women when he's not really taking responsibility for himself and say, look within. Okay, what is it about me that allows me to be taken advantage of? How are some things that I can change? What are some of those things that make me unhappy, and how can I avoid those things? Like, I feel like by you avoiding it altogether, that's very cowardly. I think that he needs to look within and maybe do some self-work and to try to rectify the situation, because, you know, I've been in a situation where I've been played or whatever, and yes, it hurt, but I'm not about to count all men out, or I'm not about to deprive myself, you know, just because of when somebody hurt me. No, I'm going to say, you know what, Delinda, what did you do to allow this to happen? Because you cannot put the responsibility solely on other people, because other people are other people. You can only take accountability for yourself. So how can I approach this situation differently next time to avoid being hurt or avoid being finessed or whatever?
Yeah, I think it's easier for people to point the finger at other people.
And he's just playing the blame game, and that's why he's so hurt. And that's why he's going to still have this baggage, because he's going to forever feel this way, and he's never going to be able to really heal because he's not taking any of that responsibility.
Yeah, but the hurt, I think, so I hear what you're saying, and I agree, you know, because we both agree on that same point, but a lot of the hurt comes from what we're taught, right? So like think about the first day that you realized Christopher Columbus was actually a murderer, like a axe murderer that like came over here and just annihilated tribes of people. But in school, what were we taught?
Right.
And the anger that you felt when you're like, oh, that's what happened?
Right.
But the education taught you something different. To the effect of celebrating like what that was. I think like a component of and I'm gonna do my analogy game today. I don't know if you realize. Yeah, I've been comparing a lot of stuff today. Like, you know what I mean? Follow. Right, but like to compare the shock that you got when you're like, oh, Christopher Columbus did what? Yeah. Is like, and that rage that you felt is similar to like a rage of like thinking through what we were fed as like what relationships are and what the significant other in relationship is supposed to be. Yeah. And then finding out that like humans be humans, bro.
Yeah, at a certain point, everybody's had their heart broken and found out, oh my God, relationships suck.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree that, you know, it may have had that impact, but at the end of the day, when do you pick yourself up and you heal?
Okay. Well, listen, we got 3 more minutes left. Let's try.
And many women prefer to date bad boys and jerks instead of good, loving, supportive, and good-hearted men. Many men can't even get dates or relationships these days because they seem to be unattractive to women, and women have no interest in dating them and having sex with them. But it's much harder for unattractive men than it is for unattractive women. And men that are incapable of getting dates and getting into relationships are often called TFLers, or true forced loneliness type of guys. Many of them are bitter because they cannot get female attention, and many of them focus on conspiracy theories instead, as a hobby. Some men go overseas and look for foreign brides to marry, and this too is a bad idea because female nature is the same everywhere around the world. Bringing a foreign bride back to a Western country ensures that in many cases that she will leave you. Many times foreign women are marrying foreign men just to get a new passport, and once they enter this new country, they find more attractive males. If she left the country of her own origin behind, what makes you think that she won't leave you behind? Another possible solution for men looking for love are synthetic lovers. In Japan, people pay for affection, conversation, sex, and often each of their needs are met in a service type of setting. But some men are not content doing this and choose to search for NAWALT. NAWALT stands for Not All Women Are Like That. And apparently there's a small number of women that are not into marrying men for their money and resources as their primary motivator, but they genuinely care about men. Such a woman is rare and often like a purple squirrel or a unicorn. But sometimes a man that...
Yo, let's talk about that one real quick.
I disagree.
Yeah, so...
I think he's living, like I said, back in the early 1900s, where women even... Yes, of course, I want you to have, be a provider and have money. I don't want nobody that's broke. But am I looking for somebody to finance my lifestyle? No, I can do that.
So he's also saying that women are incapable of loving. Like, it's just, it's a love through a need of finances. And do you agree or disagree with that?
I disagree.
Okay, can you give me more kind of insights into, like, so, and he's talking about all women.
Now, I kind of do see his point on it being harder for ugly men than uglier females. I don't want to say ugly, but not as attractive.
Yeah.
Aesthetically pleasing women to get like interactions with men, but that's because men will stick their little things in whatever.
So you're saying more women can get that, but then the woman is not getting like that emotional.
Yeah. Exactly. So I feel like it's equally as hard, and at the end of the day, you have to find someone that is like that likes you for you, regardless of how you look, how much money you make, and that person exists. But you can't be bitter about it and entering anything with this baggage because you may run that person off.
So you don't identify with what he's saying at all, that like women are just in it to they're not actually loving, but they're looking for benefit.
Yeah, no. I think that I am actually loving. I want to genuinely connect with you, interact with you. Like I did my little love language test the other day, and like the bottom was like gifts, the top was like quality time, words of affirmation. Like it wasn't really tangible things. It was more so on the emotional level or intellectual level. I like people that I can talk through shit with. So I think he's literally just been scorned. Like he hasn't let whatever hurt go, and it's affecting his mental. And I feel bad for him.
Okay. All right, let's keep going.
It goes after women constantly gets friend-zoned. The friend zone is a place where a man becomes a utility for a woman, but gains no sexual favors, pleasures, or a relationship in return for the friendship that he provides a woman.
What's up?
I'm guilty of that. I friend-zone people a lot. But would you rather be friend-zoned or taken advantage of? Let's be clear. You say you don't want to be taken advantage of, so what's your problem with being in the friend zone?
Yeah, but the friend zone. Cool? Yeah, but the friend zone, you have the opportunity to be taken advantage of. So one of the things that a woman could take advantage of during your time is your time, your non-sexual time. Yeah. Right. These are the calls at midnight when you trying to go to sleep, and she's like, I just want to just talk about my day. Yeah. And you like sit on the phone, and you like, well, the more that I talk about her day, the more that she might want to ride my own cock cart carousel. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? But like at the end of the day,
and I do feel bad for those type of people.
Yeah, but it feels good to have an orbiter, right? It feels good to have a validator. It feels good to have someone around that you can talk to about things that but at the same time.
So would you prefer women to just cut them off completely instead of even putting them in the friend zone?
I think people are going to be people. I think a dude who has that happening to him needs to step outside his own way to remove himself. Yeah. I don't think that it's you guys having to cut us off.
Because honestly, I think that we're just trying to be nice.
Yeah, but it's nice, but it also feels good, right? Like there's still benefits as well. Like, you know what I mean? You still got someone who, because there's people in the friend zone, there's dudes in the friend zone that'll still pay for y'all meals. They'll come over, there'll be a party, and they bring all the liquor or the food or this. They're supplying, and they're willing to do that because you guys are friends, right? And they're being a provider as they were raised to kind of do. You know what I'm saying? And they're also in line with the culture. But I do think that if the goal is relationship, or if the goal is the box, and you have a dude that's orbiting you, You know, like I had to do this in my life as well. Like a woman who will orbit me, and I'm just like, well, at the end of the day, nothing will progress the way that she wants. So I have to like, I will try to remove that situation or make it more clear that it probably won't go where it would want. And I think like for me, it's a little bit of, I tell a lot of the truth. Right, like I've never found myself having to lie in order to get things that I wanted in a situation. You know what I'm saying? So like, but I allow that truth in a way where they can make their own decisions. So if you come into a situation with me and I'm like, I'm not the relationship type, and you still want to hang out.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And most dudes are not like that. Like, keep it a stack, be 100, and allow me to make an informed decision. If you know you're not a relationship type of guy, and like you said, I continue to engage with you, that's on me.
Yeah,
but
the problem is
I wouldn't fault you for that because now we've made it so far, but you told me up front you didn't want to be in a relationship. Like, that's not your fault.
But it happens though, and a lot of times it gets labeled like a situationship as well.
Yeah.
But so the problem is that logically you're like, oh well, he's saying this so that he means that, but then your emotions get up into it. You're like, well, maybe I can try to convince him, or man, but look at the way that she walks in that dress. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So then you're like, oh, okay.
No, that actually recently happened to me where somebody's actions and their words did not align. But unfortunately, I didn't find out until after we were dating for some time that, he's not really looking for anything. It's more casual for him. But what pissed me off is that I've asked this question.
Oh, but
like we literally had a whole conversation about it, so I feel finessed, you guys. I felt finessed, but not to the point where I'm cutting out men. Like,
right, you just learn from it and you keep moving forward.
Yeah, you just and then what kind of had me for a loop was the fact that his actions and everything. It seems like he was a serious and a legitimate guy, but let me tell y'all, he talking about the golden vagina, but if you just keep it, you'll see what's real and what's not. And I got cut off. And I was like, well, I thought you said it wasn't about the sex.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's not about the sex. Well, apparently it is, because we're not. And you have basically deaded me, ghosted me.
Oh snap, son! This gentleman, I feel like there's so many other questions I want to ask, but we've been we've been on this video for one more minute.
Yeah, one more. Yeah, we're gonna try to make it through this last part.
We trying to finish.
Yeah.
And even if he does marry her, she will tire of him almost certainly in her 30s, and she will say things like, "Not tonight, honey," and deny him sexual release, and possibly use that as a way to control him. But the truth of the matter is that what is happening today has ultimately been caused by men's ingenuity. Without the oil to run our economy, women would not have all of the benefits of cheap food and tons of leisure time. Men have released the oil genie out of the bottle, and some male functions have become obsolete because of it. Women are also using new communications technologies like smartphones and computers to increase their pool of available men. So in turn, they're getting pickier. But
all right, I think we get it.
Yeah. I think he's drawing a hard line, and he's just going deeper and deeper into a hole, a dark, lonely hole. So I don't advise any of you guys to do this.
Well, here's my thing, and I know you don't advise at all any, but there's a lot of parts of this video that you agreed with.
Yeah, like
there's a lot, right? Like, there's a concept of letting someone absolutely have power over you. This points of being way too nice, right? Like, there's a lot of things that I think you can extract from this video. But my problem, and I've said this multiple times on my channel, is when you get down to these click holes on YouTube, and this is the only information that you consume. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how, as a man, if my natural tendency is to, like have women generally around in my call log, you know what I'm saying, at any given time, like, I can just, right, like if that's my basis, like, and when I'm done with my purpose, I'm done with my passion, I'm done with my work, right, like, and I want to be around one, like, and to think that you just erase that out of your mind, but to a degree, I can understand that if you face some type of hardship with them as well. But like at some point, life's about balance.
Maybe he should date in his lane. Maybe you're dating out of your lane. A lot of people that get...
He's dating in a lane where they take advantage of him?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, but listen, spin your video.
Yeah.
I am your host, Mediocre Tutorial. Got me all messed up. I am your host, Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. Listen, Linda, I appreciate you. I appreciate your authenticity.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, we definitely, I would love to be able to do a video like this again with you.
Okay.
I learned a lot today because I wasn't sure what the acronym really meant like that. I mean, I think I had an idea from the overwhelming amount of comments about it on my channel. You know what I'm saying? But at least you learned a little bit about something.
Yeah.
Is there any final thoughts that you feel like you can share, like you feel like you have extracted to learn about that you can go forward with and how you deal with dudes?
I don't know if I would take any of this advice. If anything, I would oppose to all of it and just say don't draw a hard line. Don't paint people with a broad brush. I think that you have to take every instance and learn from it. You take L's in life. That don't mean you've lost. That means there's a lesson. And you apply it and you move forward. But you don't hold on to baggage and hurt. You be optimistic. Because I wouldn't be surprised if he's a bit suicidal down the road.
That's great. Okay. All right. Well, listen, we got day parties to go to. You know what I'm saying? We've been doing this video for way longer than what we thought. But like, hey, hit him. Hit them. But again, Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Comment down below. Questions, comments, concerns.
We get enough likes, I'm going to drop my IG.
Word. Yeah. If she get enough likes, she'll drop the IG for all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? All right.
I ain't going to ditch y'all. I ain't going to hurt y'all.
Yeah. No, I don't know about that. You got a ferocious side about you. You know what I mean? Nah? Right,
I don't even play those type of games somewhere. That's immature.
It's immature.
If y'all ladies out here doing this to these dudes, taking advantage of them, grow up.
Grow up. Well, listen, next time that we do a video, I'm going to go over one of these videos that teach women how to play games with men. We're going to do one of those.
Well, men don't need a listener in that department. Ladies, if y'all agree, leave it in the comments.
There's no women that watch these videos. But anyway.
So I'm gonna be alone in my stance.
Listen,
it's okay.
But you should go in the YouTube comments and like talk to people.
Okay, I am. I got y'all. I'll respond.
Alright, cool. Well, let me sign off real quick here. Till next time, YouTube.